Financial planning. We've talked about organizational planning, but don't forget, there is no organization without finances. And there is no proper management of finances without proper planning. And you would agree with me that for your organization to keep running, you need constant finances, right? And like I said, you cannot afford to pay for everything. Nobody pays for everything. We leverage on partnerships, we leverage on relationships, we leverage on the on people around us, we leverage on volunteers, we leverage on people who also buy into the mission and the vision of our organization. But for anybody who wants to relate themselves with you as a community mobilizer, as a project manager, everybody also wants to see your level of frugality. Everybody also wants to see, transparency and accountability with the resources that has been committed to you. And don't forget, nobody wants to be associated with a fraud. So it's important we get our finances straight. It's important we get our finances up to date. And it's important we monitor everything that is happening when it comes to finances in the organization that we run, in the community mobilizing that we're trying to do, and in the project that we're trying to establish. So all of these put together are the activities you need to do to be able to manage the resources at your disposal properly. Right. So all of that goes into financial planning. And like I said, to be honest with you, right, for you to move fast in everything you're trying to do, you need a proper plan for your finances. And you also don't want to forget that for the progress you want to record in your organization, planning helps you to get the results that you want. So once you are able to do proper planning, that also goes into your financial planning, like I said earlier on. Now, there are 4 major things you need to do when you're trying to get your finances into order, when you're trying to plan your finances in a way that anyone that sees it understand that a good job has been done. Number 1 thing you need to do is you need to first of all plan. You're planning through a budget. And like I said, for every project you want to do, you want to have a budget. You want to have a way that project is going to be established. And you also want to know what does success, what does it look like? Because don't forget, for every result that we see at the end of the project, these results have been most of the time predetermined even before the project starts. And how is it predetermined? We had a plan. And what we now do to get those results is we walk through the plans that we have. We walk through them to get the results that we want to see. We need to strategize. We've done our planning. We've done our financial planning. We've done our budget. But we need to also strategize. You need to strategize on how you want to get the funds, on how you want to spend the funds, on what you want to spend the funds on. Because without proper strategy, you will realize that there will be a lot of waste. And because you have scarce resources, you want to manage waste. You want to reduce waste to the barest minimum. If anyone tells you you won't have one level of waste or the other, or get things you might not need, that will be a lie, right? But you must have a strategy put in place to reduce that waste as much as possible. When you pay people money, you must have a strategy of monitoring your invoices, monitoring your payments, monitoring your receipt, monitoring your reconciliations, right? There must be a proper strategy in place. And this strategy must be open to everyone who is working with you, especially when there's money involved, right? You want to be able to get people accountable to whatever it is they are doing with money when it comes to your financial plan and your tactics, right? You need to also understand, because don't forget, we talked about what planning is for us. Now we're talking about financial plan. But when you get a donor, how do you get funding from them? When you understand their donor objectives, how do you fit into their donor objectives? How do you fit into their plan? That should be part of your financial plan. And when you get funding, you need to be able to monitor, right? Don't forget, when you don't monitor, and that basically also goes into monitoring and evaluation. When you don't monitor how your funds are being used, you will realize that you will not have achieved the set goals that you had at the end of the day. Now, how do all these things that we have put together that goes into our planning, helps you to manage your finances? But your finances will not be managed well if all of these things that we are going to talk about now is not put into place. I call them a pyramid of management. Because at the end of the day, right, you will understand that you are going to give account of every dime that is being paid to you. And you also don't want to put yourself in a position where you are not able to, give account of everything that has been paid to your organization, because at the end of the day, you are the sole proprietor managing this particular fund, right? As a project manager, as a lead in your organization, you need to have a proper understanding of how you are able to put all of these things I've mentioned together. Now, for you to achieve financial management, you need to keep your records well, right? You need to keep your records well. There needs to be level of internal control. And I will say it again, budgeting. You need budget for everything. If you don't have a budget, and when I say budgeting in this place, I mean that all budgets must be approved by you, right? And that is part of your, monitoring what everyone is doing with the finances in the organization, right? And also financial reporting. When I was talking earlier on, I talked about monitoring and tactics, right? How do you do your reconciliation? How do people get to, reconcile any funds that have been paid into their account, right? Those are the things you need to do when it comes to your financial management. Don't forget, record keeping, internal control, budgeting, and financial reporting. So these are the things that will help you to understand what you need to do when it comes to financial management, and helps you to have a proper plan for the finances that you get as an organization, as a community mobilizer, and as a person.